What are the top 5 Rodney McKay episodes? You'll find out right after this. Hey everybody, I'm Taylor and I'm the Stargate Guy, where I talk to you about everything and anything Stargate. Today's another top 5 list where we go down the top 5 episodes of Dr. Meredith Rodney McKay. Now, these are not the most fun episodes, but these are the top 5 episodes that helped shape Dr. McKay's character. Number 5, Season 2, Episode 6, Trinity. Now, in this episode, this is where Dr. McKay finds a massive energy source built by the ancients on a planet, and attached to this massive energy source is a big honkin' space gun. And McKay, seeing a massive energy source, and Shepard, seeing a big massive space gun, naturally they had to try to figure out how to turn it on. So McKay becomes obsessed with this piece of equipment. This ends up being his downfall, however, and he ends up blowing up half of a star system. Well, 5/8. Number 4, Season 5, Episode 6, The Shrine. This is where McKay has a tumor or a disease going on that's kind of like Alzheimer's, where he really reverts back to his true nature, and not the arrogant nature that we usually see him revert back to, but rather the childlike nature and the compassion and the love that he has for others deep down within himself. During this episode, Ronan strongly feels that they need to take McKay to a shrine. The shrine is behind Wraith Lines, and this shrine will allow McKay to be himself for a couple of hours before he dies, because this is going to be a fatal thing. Fortunately, while they were there, they managed to figure out what was going on and fix him up. This was a key point for McKay because it was a connection between him and everyone else. Everyone else was able to see past the arrogance that he usually shows and see the true, vulnerable human underneath. Number 3, a little bit of an odd choice, Season 4, Episode 16, Trio. Now, this is a very simple episode, and it's not really until the end where it turns out to be a bigger episode for McKay. During this episode, himself, Carter, and Dr. Keller end up falling down a hole, essentially, and being trapped, and they have to find a way out of this hole. And McKay gets wounded, Carter gets wounded, everyone's hurting. At the very end is the part that really makes it a key point for McKay, because it is a point where Dr. Keller makes it very clear that she's going out on a date with him, period. Okay, he is buying her a drink. And that really spawns off the relationship that we find out even in alternate timelines survived Stargate Atlantis. Number 2, Season 3, Episode 14, Tau of Rodney. This is where Rodney arrogantly and somewhat accidentally turns on a ascending machine, and his DNA gets a little scrambled, and he either has to ascend and or die. And there's no real other option there. So he gets super intelligent. He is able to produce a lot of stuff. But at the end, it's either ascend or die. Die or ascend. So this was a point where he came to terms with his mortality, and he was able to really humble himself, and he was really able to develop his character as more of the arrogant scientist, but rather the man. And the man who really appreciates others, even though he doesn't always seem like that. And now here's a few honorable mentions. Season 4, Episode 9, Miller's Crossing.
Are you even listening to me?
You lost me at nanites.
Hey, idiot, we need to solve this coding problem.
No, what we need to do is get the hell out of here.
I know, by solving the coding problem.
Oh, so young and so naive.
You got a better idea?
Yes. Look, they gave these computers network access so we could monitor Sharon in real time, right? Which means I can also hack into the security mainframe.
Season 2, Episode 4, Duet.
Just in case this doesn't work. Oh. Oh. Just hit it.
Season 1, Episode 17, Letters from Pegasus.
This is Dr. Rodney McKay speaking to you from my base of operations in the lost city of Atlantis, located deep within the Pegasus galaxy. I record this message on the eve of our darkest hour. As I speak, an alien armada of biblical proportions is on its way bent, dare I say, hell-bent, in keeping with the metaphor, on our destruction. We will do our best to stave off their attack, but I am afraid that defeat is all but inevitable. I, and the other members of my team, face the most horrific deaths imaginable, as our very lives are sucked from our chests in a horrific... Okay, starting again. Ford, just cut that, right?
And now, finally, the number one choice, Season 3, Episode 8, McKay and Mrs. Miller. Now, Rodney was estranged from his family, and one of that would be his sister Jeannie, which becomes the Mrs. Miller part of the equation. McKay and Mrs. Miller, in this episode, it allows them to really reconnect and to really reform their relationship, and allows Rodney the doorway to relate back not just with his sister again, but with her family, her daughter and her husband. And it really helped to resurge that relationship, a relationship that, as we even learned in Letters of Pegasus, was important to him, but that he never made the time, or he never reconnected, and he regretted that. And now, later on in Season 3, the door is open for him to spar up that relationship. And we see this relationship throughout the rest of the show, and it means a lot. And also, this is where we find out about Rod and the possibility of how McKay could have been, as well as more about his backstory and his character and his childhood. So let me know what episodes I left out in the comment section down below. And if you're new to this video, go ahead and subscribe. Great videos are coming out every week where I talk to you about everything and anything Stargate. Thank you so much to everyone who bought me a cup of coffee this week. You guys are amazing, and you help keep this channel going. In the meantime, you can check out this video for another top 5, or this video for some more Stargate awesomeness. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side.